Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a massive shift that's happening in project management, and it's all because of artificial intelligence. This isn't just about getting a new tool, it's a whole new reality, and it demands a completely different way of thinking from us. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Let's kick things off with a quote straight from the project management body of knowledge. The highest authority in our field is officially saying it. AI isn't just on the horizon, it's here, and it is fundamentally reshaping our entire profession.
So here's our game plan. We're going to look at how AI is changing projects, why our old governance models just don't cut it anymore, and what really makes these AI projects tick. Then we'll get into the tricky stuff, new risks like bias, the new rulebook for AI, and, most importantly, what all this means for you as a leader. Okay, let's get into it.
For decades, the projects we've managed have followed our rules. They execute code we define, they follow processes we map out. But now, we're managing projects that can actually learn, projects that adapt, and projects that can even make decisions all by themselves. This is a massive departure from everything we've known. And what that really means is that the trusted playbooks we've all relied on for years, the ones built for a predictable world, well, they're just not enough anymore. We're in a new game where the outcome isn't just complex. Sometimes it's not even fully predictable. So, to really get a grip on what's changing, let's take a quick look back at the foundation we're all super familiar with, traditional project governance. We have mastered this, right? We define a scope, we deliver predictable value, and we manage those familiar risks: time, cost, and resources. The classic triple constraint. It's a system that works perfectly for projects that behave predictably. But here's the thing. AI systems completely change the rules of the game for every single one of those pillars. They bring in a level of uncertainty and autonomy that, honestly, our old governance models were never built to handle. And here is the absolute core of that difference. On the left, you've got traditional systems. They're deterministic. Think of a train on a track. It follows a predictable path that we laid out. But on the right, AI systems are probabilistic. They learn from data, which means their path can change, and their outputs, well, they aren't always guaranteed or easy to explain. And this leads us to a brand new critical project constraint: explainability. In fact, the ISO technical report on AI ethics flags this as a huge challenge. Think about it. If you can't explain why your project did something, can you really say you're in control of it? So, this inherent unpredictability and this black box problem, it opens up a whole new universe of risks. And these are risks that go way, way beyond that classic triple constraint of scope, schedule, and budget. And that is the big question we all need to be asking. We have to fundamentally shift our thinking. Project risk is no longer just about delivery, hitting a deadline or a budget. Now, the biggest risks could actually be your project's impact on people, on society. And these aren't just abstract ideas. Drawing from new standards from folks like ISO and the PMBOK guide's increasing focus on ESG, that's environmental, social, and governance, these are the new risk categories for your project's risk register. We're talking about real-world harm here: algorithms that amplify bias, systems that can be manipulated, or losing human oversight in life or death decisions. And this just says it all, doesn't it? These aren't just technical glitches you can patch in the next sprint. No. These are business-critical project failures that can expose your entire organization to absolutely massive legal, financial, and reputational damage. So, if the old playbook is out of date and the risks are this different, how on earth do you manage a project that can think for itself? Well, the answer is you need a new rulebook, one that's designed for this new reality. This new rulebook is built on a principle called AI governance. Now, this isn't about slowing things down with red tape. It's about giving you the structure, the policies, and the controls you need to innovate responsibly and actually manage these new, dynamic projects effectively.
And the good news is, we're not starting from scratch here. Standards bodies like ISO are literally building this rulebook for us. For example, check out ISO 42001. It gives you the requirements for an entire AI management system. Think of it like a quality control system for all your AI work. And then there's ISO 42005, which helps you assess an AI system's potential impact before it ever goes live. These frameworks give us a globally recognized playbook. And those big standards, they translate into these very concrete, actionable practices for your projects. This isn't just theory. This is about defining your principles upfront, setting up formal review gates,
Always, and I mean always, keeping a human in the loop for high-stakes decisions and being radically transparent. These are the new essentials.
So with all this change, what does it all mean for you, the project manager, when you walk into the office on Monday morning? How does your role have to adapt?
Your value is no longer just about delivering on time and on budget. As the PMBOK guide points out, the modern PM has to be a strategist. And for AI projects, that means becoming a leader who steers these incredibly powerful systems toward outcomes that are not only effective, but also ethical and safe.
So let's quickly recap your new AI playbook. First, always remember, AI projects are a totally different beast. Second, you have to expand your definition of risk to include those crucial societal and governance factors. Third, put a strong governance framework in place to stay in control. And finally, lean on these new standards like ISO 4200. They're your guide.
And I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. As the systems we manage get more and more intelligent, more autonomous, our responsibility is shifting from just managing tasks to actually safeguarding values. Thanks for joining this explainer.